Garrick has recently been arrested. The question is anybody surprised? Well, listen, let's get into the details and see exactly what has gone down, and obviously, therefore, we can obviously have our opinions in the comment section. Now, obviously, as you can see here, obviously, Garrick himself in particular, who is 42 years of age, born on October 24th of 1983. Okay, right, so let's get into the information here. So it does say up here that obviously the description is domestic violence. And this is something that we never really want to hear, okay? Because really and truly, nobody should be in a position where domestics should be happening, whether it's verbally or physically. Now, as you can see, the charge against Derek is described as domestic violence by LexisNexis. Details from the case indicate a charge of telephone obstruct service. A person commits obstruction of telephone or telegraph service if the person knowingly prevents, obstructs, or delays by any means whatsoever the sending, transmission, conveyance, or delivery in the state of any message, communication, or report by or through our telegraph or telephone line, wire, cable, or other facilities, or any cordless, wireless, electronic, mechanical, and or other device. Obstruction of telephone or telegraph service is class 1 misdemeanor. So this is the current situation regarding Garrick and his arrest. Now it continues here by saying that court records indicate the charges stems from an incident on Saturday, November 22nd. So literally that was about 4 days ago. Let's just let that sink in, okay? The court docket from the case states that that there was a mandatory protection order granted today. Mandatory protection order. Things aren't looking good. Screen caps from Garrick's court hearing were posted on Facebook, and they show a Portuguese interpreter was present. That would seem to suggest the case involves Garrick's Brazilian wife, Lorrana, but that has not been confirmed. It has not been confirmed, but it has been researched, and we're going to get into that information obviously in this little article itself in particular. Obviously, as you can see here, has proven Portuguese interpreter. And obviously you can see Garrick's obviously there down below. So of course, naturally we are going to assume this has something to do with Lorrana. So let's get into exactly what else has been said. Garrick was released from custody earlier today. Now today being the 24th of November. So this was about 2 days ago. So that means he was only, I guess, behind for 48 hours, should we say. It appears all the photos of Lorrana have been removed from an Instagram account of Garrick Merrifield and Danielle Merrifield. Technically speaking, Danielle isn't a Merrifield anymore because she's not married to Garrick, but hey, it is what it is. Lorrana shared an Instagram story today, which was reposted text graphic in Portuguese. Below is a translation via Google. Okay, now I do apologize, folks. My throat's a bit so if I have to keep cracking it, I do apologize for what irritation that might cause your ears. Now, as you can see here, this is obviously a verse I believe that is taken from maybe the Bible. Right, so meditating on Psalm 23, I understand that there is a silent greatness in the way God honors us. He doesn't prepare the table after the war, but in the midst of it, he does not anoint our head when everything is calm. But when we still smell the battle, the feast before our enemies is not provocation. It is a divine declaration. I will take care of you in front of those who swore you wouldn't survive. The anointing on the head hills sets apart and empowers. I mean, listen, these are very, very strong words that are obviously being delivered here, or should I say being reposted by Lorrana herself in particular. Now, it continues by saying the overflowing cup is not purposely excess. It is God saying that provision will never depend on the circumstances, but on his presence. This poem reminds us that the goodness and faithful love of Lord do not only appear on sunny days, they walk with us in the darkest nights. And to be fair with you, the darkest nights are probably when we need it the most, which is probably when it is the most crucial. Now also on top of it, it continues by saying, do not fear those who rise against you. Fear only losing sight of the hand that guides you, because in the end, the promise is greater than the threat. Whoever walks with God finds a home in God himself today, tomorrow, and forever. So here's the thing, folks. We know that when it came to Garrick and Danielle obviously pursuing this lifestyle of seeking a sister wife, it is because of one simple reason. Because Garrick had a dream where God told him that it is time for him to find other wives. So I wonder, when he was having these dreams, did they say that domestic violence would be something that would happen based on his own hand. Now, of course, right now he has not been found guilty or nothing like that. So obviously, I guess we can't necessarily jump to conclusions that something has happened that actually involves him actually being physically violent. But obviously, this is what he's obviously been arrested for. So we can only proceed on this information. So therefore, I go back to what I'm saying before. When he was having these dreams where he's allowed to obviously have other wives, did God say to him that I give you permission to put your hands on another person, let alone your own wife? Do you see what I'm saying? And the reason I bring that up is because Danielle has always been very supportive of this lifestyle, purely because she says God spoke to him, so therefore we must obey. So I'm curious, Danielle, if she's ever going to come across this video, and if anyone else makes content around this to say the same thing and ask the same thing, but Danielle needs to answer this question right here. At what point did Garrick tell you that in his dreams that domestic violence was going to be okay? And let's not mess about. Garrick has removed Lorrana from his social media page, but so has Danielle. So that means really and truly she is standing by him, which really and truly is not a good look, especially given the fact that a lot of us already question her anyway. Now, with that being said, Sarcasm will continue to investigate the charges against Garrick and will share any updates. And of course, anytime I do see updates, guys, obviously I'll be here to let you know. Now, it is quite sad because obviously recently they did come out to announce that they now do have a baby girl, obviously courtesy of Garrick getting Lorrana pregnant. But unfortunately, this child here is probably going to be living a life now where it's gonna be missing one of those parents, whether it be Garrick or whether it be Lorrana. I'm not too sure obviously who's going to win the custody battle. I would imagine it'd be Lorrana because obviously she's the one that has been obviously assaulted in this situation. But obviously, does that mean that she's now going to be living in America where she's going to have to raise a child by herself? Or will she opt to go back to Brazil and obviously raise a child there, which of course I can imagine won't be easy, given the fact that obviously Garrick may have to give her permission to leave the country with obviously their daughter, do you see what I'm saying, for the foreseeable. So it could be a case where she may be stuck in America now for the foreseeable, you know, because of her child, unless of course she decides to give up all rights of her child to Garrick and obviously decides to go back to Brazil on her own accord. That is also an option. That is also an option too. Personally, would I want to be in a position where I'm going to leave my child with a man that potentially physically abuse me? Absolutely freaking not. So yeah, that's exactly where I stand on the matter itself in particular. Well, listen, folks, let me know exactly what you're thinking down below. The things that we really got to think about here is, one, are we surprised? Two, do we genuinely believe that this man is guilty and what has happened has really happened? Okay, and also on top of that, regarding the child, okay, where do you think this leaves their child? Do you see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, this brings me to number four. Number four, what do people think about the fact that Danielle is clearly on Garrick's side because she's gone off and also deleted Lorrana from her Instagram page as well? So whatever opinion you had on Danielle before, what is that opinion now with this information? Because I can't imagine anybody being fans of her, if you do what I'm saying. A lot of people wasn't before, but now even more than ever. Nonetheless though, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section and we'll talk about it. Peace.